Where does the authority lie in the county?
Well, I think we should first clarify what rotating chairs means, because we were very deliberate after the elections in not seeing an administration formed and not giving to the person who may happen to chair a meeting any authority beyond that procedurally of chairing that meeting. So I think we prefer to call it a chairmanship of the day rather than rotating chairmanships. So there isn't member authority in any individual, either as a permanent chairman or as a chairman endowed with that sort of authority. I suppose ultimately, as constitutionally must be the case, authority is in the full council, and it's difficult to identify any permanent arrangement of authority below that level at political level. Obviously there are strands of authority under delegated powers and pre-existing decisions in offices, but members very deliberately have not formed, I think, even temporary shifting alliances. It's very much issue by issue, and very much my colleagues, my opponents, who tend to form that alliance.
That may be true. That's the way it worked out. I mean, I must say we opposed that, and I got the impression initially that the officers of the county would have liked to have seen some more permanent alliance arrangement just for predictability. I think it created a lot of difficulties for them. There not being an administration, there not being members they could clearly relate to. We wanted that. We'd have preferred an administration, obviously, that we were leading, but we would have been prepared to discuss that. But we've had to make do, and I think one of the difficulties is the lack of any firm focus of authority makes it difficult relating to the chief executive and to the chief officers. But we can come on to that later as to how far we've got.
I would take a slightly different view. I think it needs to be explained that we have what might be called an imperfect system of rotating chairs, in that at the moment my group is the only one participating in the rotation, so we're rotating it amongst the Liberal Democrats, although the chair for the day still has no authority beyond that. I would see authority, or perhaps more strictly power, being devolved down from the old permanent chair to the spokespersons. If you've got 3 spokespersons on education and 2 of them agree, then it is reasonably clear that a particular decision can go forward. And really the spokespersons have taken over the role of the old dominant chair that previously existed.
I would disagree with that, except in relatively minor decisions where officers might have the power to take a delegated decision but prefer to get member endorsement for it. Then they may go to the spokesman. I think in terms of major decisions, though, those clearly aren't made on the authority of a spokesman, and I think as decisions have come into the committee process, it's been very difficult to anticipate how those groups will settle, even if the spokesman for the time being have a view as to how they might settle. But that's really a matter of internal group processes, and I suspect that in reality, although perhaps John doesn't realise it, the greatest area of authority that could be defined is in the Labour group as the largest single group, and the group which in practice is more likely to get support from the Liberal group.
If I can ask the question more crudely, I mean, is the government in Hertfordshire, is the local government in Hertfordshire in the constitutional sense of the word?
Well, there are services being provided, and surely local government can be seen largely in terms of services being provided. There are still children going to school, and insofar as those services exist, yes, there is local government. Whether there is leadership in Hertfordshire is a different issue, and I think the answer there, essentially except for symbolic leadership from the chairman of the county council, the answer must be no.
I mean, I disagree. I mean, I think that Robert made the point that the Labour group, being the largest group, is the group that is bringing forth more ideas, in a sense, and seeking support from them. On the whole, getting it, from the Liberal Democrats. What I would have been seeking is to try to get more predictability into this, a more sort of down the line agreement earlier, rather than leaving it to an alliance at the last minute in the council, because not only does that make it difficult for us, it also, I think, makes it difficult for the officers and the structure of the council, that they don't know early on which decision is going to come out, which way to bend things, and so on. Okay, on the whole, we found them helpful and cooperative in trying to give an early indication of which way we are going. But one's always going to get the reaction from officers, well, you're going to have to get the support of one other group. Have you got that yet?